fellow yahoos. Welcome back to Enlightened Outdoors. Today has been a very interesting day. I worked today, and I got off of work and I went hunting. So you are about to see the rest of the story as it pertains to the evening in the woods. See, it started out, I get out of the truck, get all my gear on, and I start walking to my tree stand. What was interesting, I thought was interesting, and I tried to take a little head cam footage of it. So check this out. So here I am walking across the field, and this doe's just looking at me. I don't know if you can see her there, kind of on the left side of the screen, but she's giving the old stinky dirty eyeball, and I'm like, you know what, I might as well have a little bit of fun with this. This is where it'd have been kind of nice to have her cameraman video me from the backside. Not that my backside's all that great or anything, but anyway, I'm walking across the field. I'm like, I might as well have a little fun with this deer. So I started doing a little bob and weave, and I'm not walking straight at it, but it's like 8 or 10 yards from the path I've got to go in on to get to my stand. So as I'm trucking along over there, got a little music in my head, moving in and grooving to it, just acting like the deer doesn't exist. Kind of sidestepping some rows. Anyway, I get to within about 20 yards of this thing, and it's still just looking at me. Maybe 30 yards. Yeah, I'm about 30 yards from this deer. And it's still staring at me, kind of quartered too, right at the edge of the tree line. So I'm like, well, I got within 15 yards of this deer. So I just stop out there in the field, and it walks out and looks at me. And it starts walking towards me, as you can see, hopefully. And it gets to like, I don't know, 8 yards from me, maybe. And I got the crossbow on it, and I look through the scope, and I can see just little nubs. I'm like, this poor little silly fella. Just a pretty little button buck. Had no idea what I was, I don't think. I got up in the tree about 4:30 Eastern time, maybe 4:20. For those of you that enjoy that, no. Had a nice southwest wind, kind of blowing on the left side of my face, and that's where the deer come from. So I'm like, man, this is perfect. Pretty soon I had a young doe come out. I say I'd been in there maybe half an hour, and this young doe cuts across in front of me. I made the little pow pow, you're dead symbol with my finger, saying I could have zapped that one at 23 yards. And then here come another one. And then a third one. So they were all out in the corn eating. And then a big doe come out. And I'm like, well, that must be mama. She got her a set of triplets. Well, she comes out, and she's coming down the wood line on my right at about 12 yards. And I'm debating on whether to put an arrow into her or not. And I'm like, well, you know, these are awful good decoys, so I should just wait. It's November the 3rd. There should be a buck rolling through here anytime. Sure enough, like not even 5 minutes later, I just happened to look off to my left in one little clearing we'd made early on in the season. He come out, and I was eyeballing him, and I watched him, and he was about 35 yards, and I'm like, you know, I could probably shoot him right there with this crossbow, but I'd rather have him closer. Then he turned and went to the brush and disappeared. I was like, yeah, that's justice. Well, I look over to my right, and this doe is standing, 12 yards broadside. So I'm thinking, I should really just shoot this doe while he's out of sight, and maybe he'll come around and I can get him too. So as I'm getting positioned, one of the fawns comes running up, headbutts her in the milk sack, and starts nursing. I'm like, well, I'm not shooting that doe. I won't shoot a doe that's being nursed on. Anyway, I hear something. I look down to my left, and I've got this nice little opening. Oh, probably about 3 foot across, and this buck's standing right in the middle of it. And I look at him, I go, that's a pretty nice deer. If it was the last day of season, would I shoot that deer? You're darn skippy I would. And I'd do it today too. Problem was, he was kind of looking past me. He wasn't looking up, but I could see both of his eyes. I'm like, if I move, he's gonna have me. So I just decided to wait for a little bit, and he moved forward out of my shooting lane. So I'm like, well, there goes that opportunity. If he gets back in the lane, I'm gonna have to shoot this guy. He looks better and better the longer I look at him. So he finally turns around and goes back under my stand, goes over and starts smelling the ladder coming up the tree. And I'm like, well, I guess he's either going to pick me out here or he's going to calm down. And he didn't. I mean, he looked up the tree, and I just kind of had my face tucked down in my shirt like that with the camera peeking over my arm. Stayed totally motionless. And he kind of just wandered off out in front of me. And I'm in pine trees, so it's pretty thick in there. And then he hung out for a little bit, turned around, come back, right past my stand again, right underneath me. I mean, I could have dropped a knife on him. That's surprising. But anyway, he goes back the way that I'd come in, walking in on my entry trail. This deer wanders off the way I'd come in, so I have to switch my weapon to my left hand. And I take aim on him left-handed. You got to make sure you got clearance with your crossbow shooting around your tree. So I had to get it out away from the tree far enough to be able to, when I shot, the limbs didn't relax and hit the tree or part of the climbing stick. So my elbow is on the climbing stick. I'm leaning out off the edge of the stand. Harness is on, of course. And that deer gets out there at 15 yards. And instead of being straight away, he turns like he's going to go towards the field. He gives me that nice quarter away shot. Still shakes me every time. Just shot my buck, man. It was a good hit. It looked good. He was quartering away. Tried to tuck it right up in that pocket. I hope I got it on here for y'all to see. Went crashing hard through the bush. Thought I heard him crash over there a ways. You can see it's really noisy by the interstate. That deer hung around underneath my stand on every side. He was smelling my ladder. I was gonna pass him up. I was like, that guy could really be, man, next year he could really be something. But it ain't often you get a buck like that at 15, 20 yards. I know there's bigger ones out here, but man, the longer that I sat and watched him, the more wound up I got. And usually I get really wound up, and then I calm down. But the longer he was under the tree, and the longer I got to look at him, the more I liked him. And really, guys, that's what it boils down to. Does it get you shaking and pumped up? Yeah, man. That's pretty awesome. First time sitting in this stand for the year. This place has been good to me. So I ask that you bow your head with me. Father, it's been a tough year. We've lost a lot of people we care about. Aunts and uncles. Grandpa's in the hospital right now. I pray that you watch over him, Lord. bless him with extended life. You blessed me tonight with a wonderful deer, and I thank you for letting me take it. Lord, I ask that this deer doesn't suffer, that this blood trail is easy to follow, and then it provides great table fare for our family. I ask that you keep all those out there safe that are struggling right now with COVID, with whatever issues they're facing. And Lord, with today being the election, and there's so much dividing our country, please help bring this country back together again, no matter who wins this election. Some of the things that are weighing heavy on my heart. In God's name I pray. Amen. Give thanks to God for everything I have every day. And if you don't feel that way in your life, I hope that someday you do. Let's go. Everybody, welcome back. We are here at the site of where I shot my deer, just inside the woodline here. Darcy and Spain and Alan have come over to help me track the deer. We've already found the arrow. Just heard another deer running off in there. Already found the arrow, got the blood on it. Had good blood the first, I don't know, 10-15 feet. So, hope for a great outcome. I thought it hurt to go down. Really hoping it's down where I think it's at. But Dakota always needs more practice and trailing. And we do have bad shots. So, yeah, let's get on the track. It's been a little over 2 hours since I took my shot. I think she's probably smelling straight away right there. You're walking right down this path. Your blood right there.
There he is. Yeah, I see him.
No, he's close. There he is, fella. What's that? Did you find a good smell? Good girl, fella. You're off. You made that tracking job so easy. Good girl, yeah.
Good smells.
Oh yeah, that was a perfect shot.
Good smells, Dakota.
He is so busted up and fighting. Well, I'm happy to harvest a buck like that any day.
You want to explain to him what good smells are?
Good smells. We taught Dakota. When we first started training her, we trained her with one word: outside, potty, leash, or harness, whatever. good smells. Whenever you say that, that means it's time to go track a deer. She understands it. She gets rounded up. I think a fella would be silly for passing up a deer like that. Which, I had him at 35 yards, I probably could have shot him, but he ended up right underneath my tree. Well, it's not my tree. It's the property owner's tree. That's where my tree stands at. And that dude has been fighting. His main beam's broke there. That tine's broke. These tines are okay. That main beam's broke off the end. He's got this cool palmated stuff there. And man, just a big body deer. I don't know what he weighs, but we're gonna have our work cut out for us to get him out of here, that's for sure. Thing with push right away. John says I see 3 or 4 bucks in the yard all the time.
Went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Why didn't you bring the deer cart?
I will hold the limbs for you, ladies. For you. Parlez-vous français?
Oh, thank
Wait a
you.
minute. Why you go through? For anybody that's wondering, tags all made out. Deer's checked in online. Did that a while ago, so before we moved it like you're supposed to. Anyway, this will be the transportation tag. It was in the back hock where I got the old slip cut. Put that on. That's my 2020 buck. November the 3rd. I appreciate y'all coming along. It's been a heck of a season from doing all the preparation to a lot of hunts without seeing anything. And Friday, finally got a deer on Friday. And got some meat in the freezer there. Didn't really get a whole lot of footage that I thought I had, so you guys don't get to see that one. Anyway, sometimes it's just the way it goes. As my old friend would say, it is what it is. So, I hope to see you guys next time in the woods or on the water or on the back of a pickup truck. Maybe we